Those who were there believe that what went wrong at Yalta was not what was agreed to, but the fact that the Russians did not carry out the agreement. Agreement with regard to, for example, elections in Poland and that sort of thing. Once it was agreed to, they didn't even follow it out, whatever. Now, whatever the case may be, what we have to understand is that making an agreement, which was not self-enforcing, was the mistake. Trusting the Russians, if I may use that term, that if we signed an agreement with them, that they would follow it in spirit and letter just as we would. That was the mistake at Yalta. What is the situation with regard to the Russians? Is there a chance that we can get them to accept our views, our ideals, and so forth? They go on to say, perhaps if we could only convince them that we are sincerely for peace, then they would not be as warlike as they are. Let me tell you, I know the Russians. We don't have to convince them that we're for peace. They know that. We have to convince them they cannot win a war. And once we do that, the basis is set for negotiation that will be responsible on both sides. But let us clearly understand, we have tried that way, the way of trying to convince the Russians by our restraint that we are for peace, that we are for disarmament, and all they do is take advantage of it. I recall talking to Manuel Brosio, the former Secretary General of NATO, a great Italian diplomat who served 6 years in Moscow before he came to the United States. And he told me in the late 60s, before I became president, very, very vigorously, when many Europeans were clamoring for détente, he said, I know the Russians. They are liars. They are great actors. They are cheaters. And they lie and they act because they consider it's their duty to do so. You cannot trust them. And my answer to this whole proposal or question as to whether or not the Russians can be trusted is very simply only if we make agreements which are in their interest to keep. But you can't trust them on the basis that, well, we're sincere and they're sincere. That is totally irrelevant where the Russians are concerned.